Good morning. On behalf of their honors and the Premier, I would like to welcome you to the investiture of the 2013 recipients of the Order of Nova Scotia. It is an honor to be here and to act as Master of Ceremonies for the investiture. I will begin the ceremony by reading a citation for each recipient, who will then be invested into the Order of Nova Scotia by His Honor and receive a citation from the Premier. There is one posthumous investiture where the medal will be received in a closed box by a member of the late recipient's family. Each recipient will then sign the official book of records, which becomes archival. I would now call on Eldon Thomas George to come forward. Eldon Thomas George made international news when he discovered the world's smallest dinosaur footprints along the shores of the Bay of Fundy. His lifelong passion for fossil collecting and his rare finds have brought world experts to his doorstep. Eldon George was born and raised in Parsborough. When a bad fall left him unable to play sports with his friends, he roamed the beaches of the Bay of Fundy, teaching himself geology, gemology, and paleontology. He became an expert in semi-precious stones and made significant fossil finds: an insect with 3 pairs of wings, a tiny horseshoe crab that fills a missing link in the area's natural history, and a complete footprint of a Jurassic Age crocodile-like creature. Mr. George is a community leader and an ambassador for his town and the province. He was a founding member of the Nova Scotia Mineral and Gem Society. He founded the Rockhound Roundup in 1966, which continues today as the Nova Scotia Gem and Mineral Show, one of the oldest mineral shows in Canada. He was the force behind having Stilby declared Nova Scotia's provincial mineral in 1999. Among his many community efforts, he led the fight to save historic Ottawa House, which is now a museum and center for genealogical research. Eldon George has devoted over 70 years to rock hounding, fossil hunting, and community leadership. His expertise is recognized internationally, promoting Nova Scotia as a destination rich in geological history. His work has helped to uncover the history of our land and bring world attention to the province. Your Honor, I present Eldon Thomas George for investiture into the Order of Nova Scotia. I would now call on Fred George to come forward. Fred George is an extraordinarily successful businessman, a proud Nova Scotian, and one of Canada's greatest philanthropists. Mr. George immigrated to Nova Scotia when he was 19, with a dream of making a better life for his family. He grew his Halifax mining company into the largest gold and silver producer in Mexico. He is listed among Canada's top 10 CEOs, receiving numerous business awards, including the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Mining Society of Nova Scotia. To inspire the next generation of leaders, Mr. George frequently gives lectures to university business students. In recognition of his contributions, St. Mary's University conferred upon him an honorary doctorate of commerce. Mr. George has also earned a high level of respect from his peers for both his business success and community leadership, and was invited by former President Bill Clinton to sit on his foundation board. Mr. George supports many causes, giving generously of his time and knowledge. He helped to build a new school for Bridgeway Academy, a local school for students with learning disabilities. The Fred George Gymnasium at the Sacred Heart School of Halifax and the Fred George Leadership Course at St. Francis Xavier University recognize his contributions. Mr. George has long supported the Navy, veterans, military families in Canada's peacekeeping efforts. For his dedication, he was appointed an honorary captain of the Royal Canadian Navy and traveled to Afghanistan with Canada's military leaders to support our men and women in uniform. Fred George has built an exemplary life, making our province a more caring place through his generous sharing of time and talents. Your Honor, I present Fred George for investiture into the Order of Nova Scotia. I would now call on Cecil Edwin Kinley to come forward. Dr. Cecil Edwin Kinley was born in Halifax and studied medicine at Dalhousie University. He was instrumental in setting up one of the premier cardiac surgical programs in the country, and is truly a pioneering cardiovascular surgeon and scientist. He continues to serve the province in his many volunteer capacities. Dr. Kinley joined the Dalhousie Surgery Department in 1963, where he practiced until 1998. His team started the cardiac surgery program at the IWK Children's Hospital and adult cardiac surgery at the Victoria General Hospital. Dr. Kinley performed the first adult open-heart surgery in Nova Scotia and the first coronary bypass operation when both of these procedures were in their infancy. He implanted the first cardiac pacemaker and established the first cardiac intensive care unit in Atlantic Canada. Dr. Kinley developed a residency training program in cardiovascular surgery and training programs for intensive care nurses and respiratory therapists. Dr. Kinley also devoted his time to community engagement. He played varsity sports, establishing Soccer Nova Scotia and serving as its first president. He also served in the Royal Canadian Naval Reserve, retiring as a surgeon lieutenant. Dr. Kinley was elected to the Nova Scotia House of Assembly in 1997 and sat as a member of the legislature for the former riding of Halifax Citadel until 1998. Dr. Kinley is known for his selfless service to others, for his energy, enthusiasm, and commitment to promoting community health. He is a distinguished heart surgeon, a scientist, innovator, and community leader. Nova Scotians will continue to benefit from Dr. Kinley's pioneer cardiovascular surgery programs for many generations. Your Honor, I present Cecil Edwin Kinley for investiture into the Order of Nova Scotia. Raylene Marguerite Rankin Anderson. Raylene Rankin was born into a large musical Cape Breton family. From an early age, she shared her musical talents at kitchen ceilidhs, community events, and church services in Mabu and throughout the island. Raylene graduated from Dalhousie Law School in 1987, was admitted to the bar in 1988, and released the Rankin family album with 4 of her siblings in 1989. This launched the musical group Beyond Cape Breton and helped make Celtic music and Gaelic lyrics cool. Raylene became a full-time singer and songwriter who toured extensively with her family, performing in folk festival tents and concert halls around the world. The group sold over 2 million records and won dozens of awards, including 6 Junos and most recently an ECMA Lifetime Achievement Award. Raylene's 3 great loves were family, friends, and music. She considered the birth of her son her greatest achievement and took leave from the family band to enjoy precious time raising him. She continued her musical career with 2 solo albums, reunion tours, collaborations with other musicians, and hosting fellow musicians at the Red Shoe Pub in Mabu. Leon Dubinsky's We Rise Again became Raylene's signature song. When she first performed the song in 1985, her pure Celtic voice brought listeners to tears, an effect repeated many times the world over. Raylene Rankin is lovingly remembered for her warmth, her laughter, her voice, her passionate commitment to her husband and son, her family and friends, and her music. She was a proud ambassador of our province and its Celtic language and culture. Your Honor, I present for posthumous investiture into the Order of Nova Scotia the late Raylene Marguerite Rankin Anderson. I would now call on Mr. Colin Anderson to come forward to receive the medal on behalf of his late wife. I would now call on Hedy Hendrika Margareta Vangorp to come forward. Dr. Hedy Vangorp is an internationally recognized peace educator with a lifelong commitment to teaching and justice. She founded Peaceful Schools International and served on Canada's Human Rights Tribunal panel. Dr. Vangorp was a classroom teacher and principal for 30 years with extensive assignments in Canada and the United States, including teaching students with special needs. In 1991, Hedy Vangorp's life was changed forever. Her son Ben, a grade 9 student, was thrown violently to the ground by a larger student and died of his injuries. Her son had suffered months of bullying prior to his death. In her grief, Hedy looked up at the empty flagpole of the school where she taught and said to a colleague, "Wouldn't it be wonderful if one day schools could earn the right to fly a flag declaring they are places of peace?" Starting with that notion, she began to teach her students about peace, becoming a peace and mediation specialist. In 1998, she founded the League of Peaceful Schools here in Nova Scotia, which evolved into Peaceful Schools International by 2001. Dr. Vangorp is the author of 4 books for educators. Her work is featured in a National Film Board documentary called Teaching Peace in a Time of War. Hedy Vangorp has brought honor to Nova Scotia through her tireless efforts to promote peace with students around the world. She has received numerous awards, including the Me to We Award from Free the Children, and was named a Canadian hero by Time Magazine and Reader's Digest. Your Honor, I present Hedy Hendrika Margareta Vangorp for investiture into the Order of Nova Scotia. I would now ask the recipients to please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2013 recipients of the Order of Nova Scotia. It is now my privilege to call upon His Honor, Brigadier General the Honorable J.J. Grant, Lieutenant Governor of Nova Scotia and Chancellor of the Order of Nova Scotia, for remarks.
Premier McNeil, former Lieutenant Governors Abraham and Freeman, Madam Justice Linda Lee Olin, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As a representative of the Queen here in our province and as Chancellor of the Order of Nova Scotia, it's certainly a great pleasure to welcome you all here today to Government House for this investiture. This ballroom has witnessed hundreds of investitures over more than 2 centuries. It's where Nova Scotians past and present have come together to recognize the great and the good of this land. Those who have played a central role in building the province we are so fortunate to live in today. For the newest members of the Order who have been invested today, you join the distinguished membership of this Order, and you become even more a part of the history of Nova Scotia and of Canada. You join the Fellowship of Honor that stretches back in time, made up of all of those who have been recognized by the Crown. From the family of Private Bernard Croak, who were presented with the Victoria Cross in 1918 in this very room, to the first person to be invested with the Order of Canada here in Nova Scotia and not in Ottawa, Frank H. Sobey, who was recognized here in 1985. Honors in Canada are a tangible way in which the Crown, on behalf of the people, recognizes those who strive to build bridges, contribute to social well-being, and to ultimately make our province and country a better place to live. The members of the Order serve as exemplars for their fellow Nova Scotians, demonstrating the sorts of achievements and contributions that can be aspired to. A unique aspect of our honor system is that nominations come from the grassroots level. That is, regular citizens nominate those who are deemed to be worthy of being recognized. It is a publicly driven process that relies upon citizen engagement and participation. The late Raylene Rankin, Eldon Thomas George, Fred George, Dr. Cecil Edward Kinley, and Dr. Hedy Vangorp all epitomize what is best about our province and why we are so fortunate to live in a place that fosters such a diverse talent. The Order is the highest honor that our province can bestow upon a citizen. It exemplifies what it means to be an outstanding contributor to the life and the being of Nova Scotia. All 5 of the newest members of the Order have demonstrated an extraordinary capacity to share and to give. Nova Scotia is grateful to have been the beneficiary of such generosity and such a diverse array of contributions. On behalf of all Nova Scotians, please accept our heartfelt thanks for all that you have accomplished and done. Your achievement is a central element of our collective success in the province. You truly embody the spirit of the Order by seeking excellence. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Your Honour. I would now call on the Honourable Stephen McNeill, Premier of Nova Scotia, for remarks. Premier?
Your Honour, former Lieutenant Governors, colleagues, I'd like to recognize the Honourable Maureen MacDonald, the leader of the New Democratic Party of Nova Scotia. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, family, what a great day for the family of our recipients. This is my first opportunity to participate in this important event as the Premier. I've had an opportunity to participate in this event as the son of a former recipient of the Order of Nova Scotia, and I know what an honor it is for your family to be here with you today. Each year since 2002, the Order has been bestowed on Nova Scotians who have achieved incredible heights in their fields, who have brought international acclaim to our shores, and who have made an indelible mark on our province. And today's recipients are certainly cut from that cloth. Their biographies are as diverse as their talent, spanning science, the arts, industry, education, medicine. These Nova Scotians have made our province proud and are truly deserving of its highest honor. Eldon George, you have made international news by following your passion. You never lost the love of fossils and minerals you developed as a boy growing up in Parsboro, and now your expertise is recognized internationally, promoting Nova Scotia as the destination rich in geological history and helping spark that curiosity and passion in a future generation. Fred George, your keen business sense has earned you a place among Canada's top CEOs. Your passion for helping others has led you to being recognized as one of Canada's greatest philanthropists. I would be remiss if I didn't mention your commitment to the military, and I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention your commitment to golf. He gave us a great golf story when we were back before we came in. Dr. Kinley, what you have accomplished in medicine, in the medical field, is truly amazing. The achievements you've made in cardiovascular surgery and the improvements you have made to facilitate in facilities here in Nova Scotia have not only saved lives, they have built a foundation for future generations. And it's such an honor to be part of your class of the legislature and giving the privilege to represent your community there. I am sure that there's not a person in this room who's not familiar with Raylene Rankin and her music. Raylene and her siblings, the Rankin family, were at the forefront of the resurgence of Celtic culture here in our province when they released their first album 25 years ago. Colin, I thank you for being here and allowing us to honor Raylene, as well as Alexander. It's a privilege for us to be able to honor your mother and hope this journey becomes part of the healing for your family. And thank you for letting us celebrate it today. Dr. Hedy Vangorp, your work as a peace educator and your lifelong commitment to teaching and justice has gained you international acclaim. Your strength and compassion are something we should all aspire to. Through a terrible personal tragedy, you brought a message of hope and peace. Ironically, today, Free the Children are holding their first Atlantic Conference here in Halifax, an organization that I know has honored Hedy globally, and Hedy, how proud we are of you. I'd like to thank the Advisory Council and the Order of Nova Scotia for doing such a tremendous job. I know the task that's bestowed upon you on behalf of all of us is not an easy one, but each and every time you rise to the occasion. To all of our honor recipients, it has been my extreme pleasure to be here with you today as you received this highest recognition. You've made our province proud. Your legacies will continue to touch generations, and we thank you for allowing us to celebrate your extraordinary accomplishments.
Thank you, Premier. I would now call on Mrs. Viola Robinson, Chair, Order of Nova Scotia Advisory Council, for remarks. Viola?
Your Honors, Premier, honored recipients, former Lieutenant Governors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to celebrate with us today. The Order of Nova Scotia was established to honor our most outstanding citizens. Those invested into the Order have made lasting and enduring contributions to our province through their careers, their art, and their passions. As chair of the Advisory Council for the Order of Nova Scotia, each year I see the wonderful nominations that we receive. It is truly an inspiration to read about the accomplishments of so many of our fellow Nova Scotians. This year's recipients are no different. They have received international acclaim and helped put the eyes of the world on our province. They have also made great strides in helping advance the quality of life for all Nova Scotians. They have made Nova Scotia a better place, and we are grateful to them. As you can imagine, it was not easy selecting the recipients. One thing is for certain, though. We can all agree that the recipients here today have made significant and valuable contributions to Nova Scotia. All are deserving of our highest honor. To help formally recognize their achievements, I encourage all Nova Scotians to continue to nominate and renominate for the Order of Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia continues to have one of the highest participation rates in terms of nominations. And with the outstanding quality of nominations we receive each year, I look forward to this trend continuing. Thank you to the recipients and their families for coming today and for the great work that they have done and continue to do. To the members of the Advisory Council, who continue to work tirelessly during the nomination and selection process, thank you once again. And to everyone here today who came to celebrate this wonderful occasion, thank you, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Viola. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the ceremony. I would now invite you to rise for the singing of the national anthem.